Can be here in March. It's also weeks.
Is this something that we would have to act on as a council, say we would like, basically
Yeah,
make
'cause you're
a
gonna have to pass a
resolution?
resolution.
Okay. That we want grant works to be involved, city to be involved with grant works?
Right.
Chief,
And it's not an automatic. Yes,
I
sir.
could be wrong, but now, correct me, because I just said something a while ago. Don't we have to be through with that building before we even start messing with this?
Yeah, but
I mean, we can get it,
Yeah,
the ball
we can
start
get it
rolling,
rolling.
but they're
Yeah,
not
we're
gonna give
gonna
us
have to get
anything
that
until we
without-
meet our obligation over there.
and somewhere around February 20th, we should be close to being. We got to September,
Yeah.
and we should be. And this here starts out in May. That's why they're trying to get going on it now. So.
I mean, we can start preliminary paperwork, but I'm saying before they grant us a dime, we have to be through this grant works application, correct?
Yes, sir. Because it's part of the EDCGB or what is it called over there? Now, if it was water or waste, we wouldn't,
Right.
because there was such big
So
capital.
that means it's
program.
imperative that we get the minimum in this building over here.
Yes, sir. But I just think the
I
houses.
want everybody to know what you're talking about.
I just think the houses would be a great deal. Here's one for your budget.
There's one thing here I've got a question about. It says on the bottom, cash reserves, TDHCA requires that every applicant, which means I guess the person on the House bill, commit adequate cash reserves of at least $80,000.
Yeah, now that's another way of doing the program, and we'll have to let him tell you how they
Okay.
magically move things around in the sky. But how they've been doing these grants is like a community center. You know, regardless of what anybody says, we don't really touch any money. Okay? Normally what they've done in the past is Coffee City does, okay, the walls go up, Coffee City pays the guy, we write the deals, it gets up there to the state, she says okay, and she gives it on down the line, and they write a check back to the city. So now what they do is it goes through and it goes back to the engineer and all these different people, and they say, yeah, it's done. Well, then they write a check from the state to us, and we have 5 days to turn that money back, you know, pay the contractors. So, he'll explain that.
Okay.
That a
Why
lot
don't you ask
better.
him, could he come for the next council meeting?
If that's what you wish, man.
That's it, Mark.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't
Unless
take
y'all have a
that.
workshop or something sooner then.
Well, we might, because, we're gonna have to jump on this $5,000 before it goes away.
Yes, yes.
Well,
That's a number one
But
priority.
that's a yearly deal too, I think.
No, I'm talking
No, no,
about with Geeson.
Yeah, the interlocal agreement got.
Yeah, but see, if we don't spend it before a certain time,
March 15th.
we got 10,000 right now. If we wait on it, we won't have the 5,000. And it's all going to your parking lot, chief.
Thank you, that's cool.
Yeah, we need.
But he's shamming you then.
We can have discussion.
Because our highest bid right now is like 6.
Chief,
I have to save 2. One, so I don't remember where I left off at, and, did you need one?
He says, well, hey, that money's gotta be
And one for the city secretary.
March 15th. Then we're behind.
Real quickly on the community center. Items still remaining on the contract that we have to get done now, and we're intending to do a final punch out on the contract monies the 20th of February.
I don't understand when you say punch out, I guess, time out. This is,
What we contracted them to do,
that's when
we're gonna go through there and make sure they did everything. And we pretty much followed them minute by minute.
Are the lights staying on out there at night for a reason?
Yeah, they were on because there was they were sealing the,
Was that supposed to help ride or something?
yeah, they were sealing it and they had crews coming in early and
Okay.
everything else. And the night lights, of course, are just the security lights.
I'm just wondering, because I know we're paying the electricity for that inside that building, and I was a little concerned.
Well, I can't get to them to turn them off right now because the floor's.
that's still
Still?
But it looks good, we don't have a lighted sign. Hey, I have
But
two
the
questions.
spotlights, the security lights come on from 7 to 6 currently.
I have two questions. Is there a particular time when we become untimely on when we're supposed to finish certain portions, phase completions of the building?
September.
Yeah, after number 2.
What happens at that time? The
Well-
jack comes out of the box, or what happens?
Well, what they'll do is they'll come out and they'll say that you've met the requirements. this building is able to occupy and
So we could
facilitate
become
people.
untimely at a certain number of days.
Yes. If you wrote us a check tomorrow for about $80,000, we could be out and be in this building by April 1st.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So y'all have to put the time on it.
September's our
Can you put it in the
deadline.
mail tomorrow?
Yeah, but May or June, if we're seeing that we're still having some technical difficulties, we're gonna have to request an extension.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
so we
don't
do
mind.
have to request an extension.
They don't
So
mind
we
the
can become
extension.
untimely.
They don't mind the extension, they don't want it, they don't want you to be through September 1st, and you're calling them on the 3rd of September saying, can we have an extension?
Yeah,
And they're gonna be like, why didn't you?
yeah.
And the deal is it may be better to go ahead and ask for that 6 months or 8 months or whatever y'all feel y'all need, because it's kinda like a bank. You know, if we turn it back into them, they're not gonna charge us. If we finish early, they're not gonna be mad at us. But if we see that we're possibly gonna need it, we need to request it as soon as possible.
Well,
So,
they can't charge like liquidator damages and stuff like that if you threaten.
no, but they can start causing you, points for other grants.
Oh, I see, I got you, I
And
got you.
agencies talk to other agencies and.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Go
got
ahead.
you. Second question, before you go on. The building, I know it cannot be used for, you know, the city meetings and so forth, but can the building be rented out to people outside the city limits?
Yeah.
In other words, if somebody wanted to have a wedding reception out there or
Exactly.
whatever, and
Bar
they
mitzvah.
were from Tucson, Arizona, cha-ching.
It's
Right,
whatever we
bar
come up
mitzvahs.
with.
I like that.
They have a convention, the Bass Masters Tournament, they wanna have their dinner here, their award dinner, yes.
That would be
The
wonderful.
city, as far as our understanding is it's a community building. This is
I had a
community-
meeting with Bill the other day because of some of these folks around here, lodging some complaints, telling the man that we have illegal aliens working on the building and all that kind of stuff, yeah. So Bill came out to see me. Y'all know who you are. Anyway, I've got a list of what we can and can't do, and that falls up under the spectrum of what we can do.
The only thing I advised,
Called and just said that?
the only thing I advised earlier is that at Forest Grove, I'm the president of Forest Grove, and we were putting like a $50 cleanup, myself and Alderman Ferris were talking earlier. Well, people would never clean the building up. We put like a $400 cleanup deposit on it, they were cleaning the building up.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we got to sit down and work out.
And that's just something,
If you clean it, if we have to go in there and clean it, if they have to go in there and clean it, it's just two different things.
downspouts connected to the drainage system. We have the 5 pipes buried in the ground on the front and the one on the far back corner. Now, the lead away system is not in the ground, but those pipes are there to be connected. And we have the others to connect to the gutters.
Did we ever swale between this building and the other building to keep the runoff from going back towards the lake? We
No.
never swaled
Not
that way or
yet,
anything?
not yet.
Not yet.
Our goal is to see what we're gonna do there and then we'll have
Put the
to
plans
work.
towards the front and towards the back, to see if we're gonna do that.
But they'll put brackets on there. Right now, I don't know if anybody walks by there, you'll see that the gutter stops and then there's a gap and then there's the pipe. They've got an adapter that fits onto that gutter and then fits inside that pipe so it will run down and away. Downspout brackets, you'll see that they all have one, they're supposed to have 2. They should have all the locks in pretty quick, but they're waiting until they paint the doors. All the double doors and everything are crash bars, so you can,
So we got something on the inside, is that what we call it?
if you have to get out,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
get the
okay.
doors, they bust open. They're all crash bars. All the doors have backup lighting inside and out. If you look and you drive by and you're like, well, that little light's not working on the outside of the door, that's the backup. So all the doors have a backup light on the inside and outside. They have to put the second seal coat down. The water meter still has to be set. And that'll pretty much get us out of the contract we signed with them. Then we gotta do the parking lot, the HVAC, the bathrooms at a minimum, the downspout drainage system, which we're already working on it, and we've got a person that's paying their dues by digging the ditch.
You shouldn't do community service like that.
I understand that, Mayor. That's, the last one went to Chandler and said, can I send me to jail, send my time out?
You shouldn't be working with kids like this. You should be having them on the class back.
You make them dig it with a spoon?
A name, I don't know if y'all are gonna do a name, but somebody talks
Oh, I
about
got a name for the building.
But you'd have to get the lettering, stuff like the letterings is on this one. Spreading the topsoil in the back of the building, we're waiting until we get them out of there, we get those drain lines in, and then just before we sod, that big pile back there, that's all topsoil that we saved and didn't let them haul off. We had them haul off all the concrete, bricks, rock, and everything else 4 months ago, 5 months ago. So that's all topsoil, and that'll help good going over that sand. And
When you say sod, you're talking about blowing that stuff on, that seed?
well, and that's what I was saying here next
Hydro
down.
bush, whatever.
We can either sow it ourselves or we can blow it down.
I'm saying this, I'm saying get a 100-pound bag of Bermuda because you have no protection, the
And
sun's
rye.
gonna beat down. Yeah, and the Bermuda will start sprouting as soon as it hits, what, 78 degrees? or
Yeah, and the
whatever?
rye will do good till then.
Because the sod on that would be, what, 125 a pallet, and that's basically nothing.
Yeah, I would never think of sod. I would even think of spraying it or
And that's
sowing
great,
it.
that hydromotion is so expensive.
Way more
We can,
expensive than sod is.
Wait a minute,
We
hold
can-
on.
I wish we could get one of those
What-
things that blows the
what
straw in
did it
there,
cost
and just
us?
put Bermuda on there, it'd be
What
so
did it
cheap.
cost us to do the back here? We had it sprayed, right?
I think about 8.
Yeah, it's very expensive. You could get a 50-pound bag of Bermuda and seed that
Yeah,
entire
but we gotta get rye down with, they do a rye Bermuda mix,
Yeah,
and what'll happen is that rye will take hold, and that lets the Bermuda hang out.
Like 17
Yeah,
and then when the
or something,
temperature changes,
warm enough.
but I'm just saying,
Just don't do Zoya. I don't recommend Zoya.
yeah,
Zoya.
How much,
once the parking lot is paved, then there won't be that much yard to begin with.
No, we're just talking about the back,
Yeah.
the back side of the hill.
Yeah,
No.
and since you mentioned the parking lot being paved, when you weren't here, but the commissioner said that we have a $5,000 allotment for the equipment before March 15th. And it wasn't clear whether the work had to be done before March 15th or not. And Tony said he's gonna check with him on that because we didn't question about that. We don't know if it has to be allotted before March 15th or actually completed before March 15th. So,
I think that'd be great. If nothing else, like you said, they come in on that first 5 and they come around on the next 5. That saves a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, because otherwise we're gonna lose it. So we need to ride herd on that March 15th date, one way or another.
but it needs to be a rye Bermuda grass and maybe we can get Mr. Graham. If you write a check for the houses and he writes a check for the grass, we'll be in good shape.
now, the area that you're talking about behind this building here,
Behind the building and between
if
the
you were just
buildings.
eyeballing it compared to what we got done for $800 up here, would that be 2 of those back here or 3 of them
It's
back
gonna
here?
be close to the same, really, when you sit back and talk, think about it.
I haven't walked back there, so.
Real close.
So.
And I'm sure he still owes us another spraying, right?
He owes us a little bit of something.
Yeah. So that would be taken into consideration also, because he's supposed to come back and do some more stuff.
How many parking spaces are gonna be available? How many parking spaces are gonna be available for that building?
Well, there should be 3 to the left of the handicap. I don't know if y'all saw the handicap, that's in concrete, that's nice, that's not, nobody have to worry about getting their heels stuck or, wheels stuck.
Not very nice.
Yeah, it's a mess, but I think it's 3 to the left and 3 to the right. Now, what we're working on the parking lot is if we go down this side, a lot of things have to, plan has got to align, but if we can go out that other way with an exit, then we can bring these in here at an angle and we'll probably pick up 10 or more cars easy down that side.
If the county will let us do it.
You're talking about putting a culvert in on that property?
Extending that culvert 40 feet.
I don't know how it is with city property. Now, that is a county road.
What?
The state has a 450-foot minimum
Yeah.
between, but the county, I don't think they care, do they? But
That's-
isn't that a state culvert there?
Yes, and we've talked with them, and they don't have a problem with moving it if we get an engineer plan showing. And it would have to be moved 40 feet, which is, we found 5 of those 8-foot pipes for $40 a piece,
Yeah.
which is a steal. They took them out somewhere else. And they would just move that SAT from the end, that terminating slot, down to the end. They just disconnect it, move it down.
You talking about the sculper?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
They're gonna move that? Wow.
yeah.
At their expense?
Yeah.
What,
If it all works out with the engineer, yeah.
what kind of culverts?
They're concrete.
I know where you can get some for free, you just gotta go get them.
It might be. We've got a truck.
Don't you have a truck?
My truck is full of junk, Mayor.
A couple of them, don't you think?
Well, you'll need a trailer for these, you won't get them in no truck.
I think they're, I can get you the sizes and we can check on those. Did anybody else do a copy? I've already given one a second.
Okay, so, are you through with the community center update?
Unless y'all have another question on this.
No. Judge, you ready?
You wanna do fire?
No, I want you ready to do it. Well, you want to just do it right now, just don't get out of the way?
Everybody's way?
Huh?
And get out of everybody's way?
You just want to do this just a
I
second.
just wanna get out of the way. I really do.
He thinks he got things to do.
They're running me out of Perryville.
Yeah, I'm be ready for this ISO rating. You know what that's costing me right now? It's costing me $100 more a month on my homeowner's insurance because of that no ISO rating that we have. or don't have.
Are you State Farm?
Do what?
Are
My
you State
homeowner's
Farm?
insurance went up, I don't know, my
You
wife.
State Farm?
I think it's Farmers.
Yeah,
Our
'cause State Farm don't go by
homeowner
ISO.
insurance went up $100 a month starting January because we do not have an ISO fire rating. So since we don't, we're automatically qualified as a 10, which is the worst fire rating that you can have.
Well, it's 9, 10, 9 in the, where the hydrants are,
That ain't
and
nothing.
10 out in the county.
After November, you're not gonna have a price for the problem.
Check on that line.
Yes.
See what I got.
I'm sorry to bother y'all. 21 calls, 2 house fires, 5 grass, rubbish, 5 medicals, 2 trees, 1 good intent call. I think that was when they called us out at like 4 o'clock in the morning and waited till we got here and said go home with it. And it was,
Did you put that one out there across the bridge by, that little park? How in the earth did they set that wet grass on fire? They were good at that, you know?
diesel. We had the 1 vehicle fire, 2 MVAs, 2 public service lift assists, and then 1 weather standby. And that weather standby was like, I think January the 24th or whatever, when the big rains come through. We currently have 17 firefighters. We have 3 on vacation. I do not know if they're going to return. That will bring us down to 14. All the vehicles are running. All the radios are in, they're programmed, they're issued, they're working fine. We talked about the ISO rating.
Where's my radio? You took it away.
Yeah, we'll transfer it right to
Now, what do you have left to get ready for to request ISO inspection?
Okay, now what the ISO is it, I have some NIMS things and a couple of documentations of some training events. And those should be done just
Is it all
any
right?
day. And then they'll come down and they'll do it. I think I explained the schedule last time. It'll take about, they have up to 75 days to come test it. And then after that, it's 30 days here, 30 days there. So,
You okay?
so we're trying to get it done. But State Farm does not go by
It's
ISO.
running over
So
the
you-
lake, so I'll.
They go by the property loss in the zip code and area.
So once you request an inspection, they have 75 days before they have to show up.
Right, yes, sir. That packet's sitting on my desk. Me and Mrs. Gross looked at it one day and got that tick. I was like, see, it's right here. She's like, okay. We were both busy, so, but it's been there. We've been working
I'll
on
be
it.
checking, like I said, it's gonna cost me $1,200 this year if it's dragged out all year, and that's a lot of money. Like I said, I'm not the only one paying it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people complaining about
Yeah, but these are things that, we're still correcting, you know.
This is just catch up stuff from years back, I guess.
Yeah, see, the reason we have a 9-10 is because of what we've submitted on our trainings and stuff. I guess the other ones, I can't find, any of the other departments that submitted anything.
That long.
So, and inadvertently, I may have cost you $100 extra a month
You were about to say the
by
house was half or
recording
whatever.
stuff, and they activated it, and they're like, well,
You need to get an estimate.
what's the deal?
I've had them for about 4 years now.
But are you playing catch up like the rest of the city, prior to you taking,
Yeah, but we're catching up, but I didn't want to admit that, but I guess I'm really, might as well, I'm probably the reason why, because we started reporting and doing it right, and that raised the flag.
well, but, you know, If we're gonna run the rest of it,
And-
right, we're also run the fire station like.
If y'all need to beat somebody up on it, Selena ain't been picked on at all in a week. So, I like to leave y'all alone unless y'all have something else for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize for being late, but I got hung up.
All right, Judge, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, for waiting.
I'm telling the judge.
For December, we filed 18 cases. I'm showing a lot of dismissals, but as the chief said, I'm cleaning up a lot of old cases that the state has asked us to try to, we're having to turn in new reports, so we're having to clean up cases that I can't find dockets for before I was here. And so we're going through doing that. And I had 12 dismissals for defensive driving, 3 for deferred, 6 compliance dismissals, 49 Class C misdemeanors, $11,507 in revenue. For January, we filed 45 new cases, had 8 defensive driving, 6 deferred, 1 financial responsibility, 5 compliance, and 49 Class C misdemeanors, and revenue of $12,561. In January, we also paid our state criminal costs and fees of $11,648. And what the,
Is that yearly? I'm sorry.
no, that's quarterly.
Quarterly, Jack.
Wow.
That's what, that's based on what the revenue of the court was for that quarter. And I do want to tell y'all that I do appreciate the module that was bought for my computer for jury selection. It's going to cut down on some of the citizens being called every 3 to 6 months. It should put you in a wheel where you will not be called again for 9 months.
How much does the thing cost?
I'm sorry,
How much do they cost?
$3,000.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That came out of the court, income court.
It, part of it came out of technology.
Okay, cool. And so Briarwood Bay is gonna be on there, just that group.
Robin
for
Day
the
was
first
on there
year.
for the last one. And my next one, I've talked to the mayor about this, I've also talked to the county attorney. Some of the officers cannot be here during the week, so I didn't stop and I'm trying to set for Saturday.
And what that module does, I don't know if y'all understood exactly what Judge was saying, but it randomly picks you now. Instead of the police chief picking you. It
He was
randomly
my jury
picks you.
coordinator, but now then.
Yeah,
will
it
take
randomly
off,
picks
yeah.
you now, so, you know, you probably won't get back to back or whatever, but it was a good event.
Now, I've got it set to full every 9 months, so you should not get picked. If you ask for an exemption, if you're 70 or over, handicap, if there's some exemption, then you will automatically be removed and you should not be called again at all. For Coffee City, I can't say for Henderson County, but for Coffee City, you should not be called again, because you will be removed if you file proper paperwork for exemption.
Are you through, Judge?
I finished.
Thank
You
you.
told me to keep it short and sweet.
Whoa, okay. Police chief.
All right, last month we had 19 calls, 0 arrests, and 1 accident. Like I said, it wasn't too terribly busy last month. This month is getting a little bit busier. And I know you're going to talk about it, but the Coffee City corruption, I know a lot of people seen that on CBS 19, but I spoke to the Texas Ranger and the DA. There's no investigation with the city, so like I said, all that was just information that I don't know how they obtained it. A lot of it, but it wasn't correct. So I know the mayor's gonna go into it. So, Mr. Oast, I know you asked for a report, like a breakdown, but there's been a lot of stuff going on, so I'm not gonna be able to give you that report of a breakdown. I'm just gonna give you the actual numbers, with the 19 calls, 0 arrests.
I mean, you can't break down what the 19 calls were, like if they were
No,
burglaries or what.
I'm not gonna generate a special report. There's just a lot of things that's been going to concerned citizens website that you support, and like I said, they're getting a lot. I don't know if they're getting information from you, but my officers, all their cell phone numbers got posted on that website, and you support the website, and there's allegations made on that website about my officers doing drugs,
That's a private website, and I think they're free to say what they wanna say. That really has nothing to do with me requesting information
But
from
there's a lot of
you
stuff
as an
that's,
employee of the
it's
city.
going straight to the website from you.
No, it's not.
So, like I said, you
That
support.
is not true. I'd like to put that on the record, that that is not true.
Okay, well, like I said, you support the website, so, and like I said, as a city official, I feel that with the things being said about the police department, I just hate you're supporting it. You're sending citizens.
You support a website yourself.
No, I have.
As much
I'm
as
just
I
saying-
support one, you support another. Let's put it that way, okay?
Okay, well,
That's
I
fair?
don't support a website.
Oh,
Like
I
said,
don't either.
Okay, well, I have emails where you posted on their website. Here in the paper, you tell go to concerned citizens of Coffee City. And
You
like I
know
said,
why I said
I wouldn't
that?
be so upset
Let me
about
tell
it.
you why I said that. It's because the mayor decided to shut the city's website down, because I think the public has a right to know what happens at this council meeting and for it to be broadcast. And so what I spoke of in that article that you're speaking of, that particular meeting where the mayor said what he did was on that website. And that's why I said go look at it, because the city does not have one for anybody to go look at.
Okay, well, like I said, there's a lot of stuff on that website it's just false
I don't
allegations.
control the website, it is a private entity. I have no control over what the private
Okay,
citizens.
but I'm just saying, you support the website, and I just don't feel comfortable.
And here we go again with these half-truths. These half-truths, y'all like to say concerning
There's
this.
half-truths in
Half-truth,
everybody's
yeah,
part.
half-truth.
Half-truths
I
on
shut the
your part.
website down because y'all wanted to tell us how to run the website that the man was donating free.
The
You can't do
website
that.
needs to be run correctly according to state rules if you have one, Mayor,
That's why we don't have one.
Mr. Rose,
because you don't wanna run it by the rules?
No, because people like you.
Mr. Rose.
That's not an answer, Mayor.
That is an answer.
The reason
It's the
I
only
wanted
answer
the
you're gonna get.
website was so we
It's
could
the only
post
answer
things
you're
and
gonna
make
get.
the city transparent.
Yeah, right.
This city needs to post the audit, it needs to post the check register, it needs to post everything that is public, and it does not. Why is that?
We didn't fund the money for it.
No, there was money for a website, we had
That
a
their
website
website
at
was
one
free.
time.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
You paid for that website out of city
You got to
money.
be crazy.
It's in the check register, Mayor. You've paid for that website out of city money.
The owner of that website paid the bills on the website. We
You,
might
the
have paid.
city, paid for
We
the
might have paid the
website.
domain name one time,
More
but
than one time.
the owner was
More
paying
than
for it.
one time, Mayor.
Let's move on. I got time for this.
But, Mr. Rose, like I said, that's the reason I feel uncomfortable. There's a lot of stuff that wasn't available to the public that.
Chief, you don't have to
I
explain
just
anymore.
feel like whatever the police department does, this city council should be
Okay.
aware of what it
And I
is, and it
understand
is public
But I'm
information.
saying, have you read the website? Are you aware of the allegations that they made?
I read a lot of websites.
I'm just saying that actual website. I'm not talking about a lot of websites.
I
I'm
have
talking-
read it, yes,
Okay,
I have.
and
But I'm not on trial here.
they tell-
I'm not on trial here, and I'm not gonna answer your
Okay, well, you
questions.
don't have to.
You're an employee, I'm a council
And I don't
member.
have to
Let's
answer your
leave it like
questions until
that.
y'all vote on it and approve it, Mr. Rose.
I understand, I'll never get a report from you.
Okay.
That's all you have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor,
You're welcome.
Mayor Moore,
Yes,
let
ma'am.
me address the police chief. You are hired by the city council. We are your employers. You do have to answer to the city council.
Have
And
you
that-
read the website?
What does that have to do
That-
with you
I'm
answering?
telling, I don't care about the website.
Never.
But if I'm gonna ask you one question.
There's
If
personal
that had been
information that's
anybody
given to the
else
council.
that was requesting something other than myself or Ms. Drost, would you have a problem of giving that to him? I don't think so.
Besides yourself and Mr. You've never asked.
I have not asked for it.
Why don't you answer her question instead
You-
of skirting the issue?
I'm not skirting it.
You definitely are skirting.
If it had been anybody other than Ms. Drost or myself, would you have had a problem with
Hey,
giving
look,
it to us?
No,
Why don't we just get on with the meeting? This is bullshit. If you guys wanna fight, take it outside.